I worked for Starknet Foundation before I did in Star Wars. Before that, I worked as a machine learning engineering coding phase, and I transitioned from AI to crypto because I think that there's a lot of cool stuff to be built with Starknet and Star Wars. So nice to meet you. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks to the Starknet team for organizing this. Amazing. Thank you a lot for coming. Okay, next slide, please. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the global problem about Bitcoin. Why is there a problem and a necessity to scale Bitcoin? Then we're going into Vietnam, more specific stuff. Then the solution proposed by Starknet. And finally, a call to action, what are next steps? Okay, next slide, please. So, well, you know this. There's a lot of Bitcoin out there. It's 1.2 trillion in capital, but most of it, actually, 99% of it is idle. So it's not moving, it's not creating capital, it's not creating interest rates, and so on. So there's an issue there, right? Next, please. So there's a huge opportunity out there, a lot of capital density being unproductive, and well, now there seems to be a solution which is the regulated ecosystem in Vietnam, plus the technology that we are developing for this. So next slide, please. So you know, the core problem of Bitcoin, why do we need to scale Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin, you only can make 7 transactions per second in Bitcoin. This is extremely low. It's very close to do transactions, sometimes even $100 per transaction. And there are no smart contracts, right? So it's practically, it's money that you buy Bitcoin and you leave it there forever, right? You know this already. So there's some issues with Bitcoin that we need to scale. So now, the second part of the presentation is the catalyst Vietnam regulatory revolution, right? So I'm of course not an expert in Vietnam's specific regulation, but we can see some of the stuff that experts are saying already, right? So for example, here, Chain Analysis Global Crypto Adoption Index 2025. Vietnam ranks 5th globally in overall interest in cryptocurrencies with over 2 million crypto holders and over 800 billion in trading volume. So Vietnam is a global powerhouse in usage of crypto, right? Huge. This is huge. When this new potential meets the off-grid model, it will be a chance to build not just an exchange for Vietnam's entire digital financial infrastructure on a foundation of Vietnam ranks 5th globally in overall interest in cryptocurrencies with over 2 million crypto holders and over 800 billion in trading volume. So Vietnam is a global powerhouse in usage of crypto, right? Huge. This is huge. When this new potential meets the off-grid model, it will be a chance to build not just an exchange for Vietnam's entire digital financial infrastructure on a foundation of trust. This was the CEO of Dunamo, right? So people are talking about this. Next, please. So it's official. It's official since a couple days ago, right? September 9th. So September 9th. So this is very recent. And it might be a celebratory reason for us right now, like what perfect time to be doing this, right? September 9th, the 5-year pilot program was signed by Deputy Prime Minister Hope for September 9th, right? So this is amazing. For example, we got some quotes again. We're active to law to facilitate investment and business in this sector. Deputy Governor of the State Bank of Vietnam. So people are talking positively about crypto, right? MD and OPIC will be trusted partners working together to promote Vietnam's digital financial markets. The chairman of the military bank, right? So banks are talking about this. It was signed on September 9th. Today is September 11th. So it was just one day before the start of the Startup House. This is great, right? We will plan it perfectly. Thanks to Starknet team. Next, please. So, well, you know this, most of you are Vietnamese, so there's 21 million users here of crypto in Vietnam. That's a huge number, 21 million persons. A lot of money, a lot of transactions are being moved. And Vietnam's 5-year crypto pilot program represents a bold and calculated move to transform its digital asset market from a chaotic gray zone into a regulated, innovation-driven ecosystem. Vietnam Crypto Market 2025, right? So, next. So, again, people are talking positively about all of this. The law provides clarity and requires more foundations, financial foundations for crypto companies. So, here's the issue, right? Here's the issue, and this is something good and something bad, right? Because we're talking about huge exchange, right? The regulation, anyone looking to start an exchange in Vietnam will need to bring a minimum capital of 10 trillion dong, right? I mean, who has 10 trillion dong here or access to that kind of capital? Right? So, as Omar raised the hand in the back, right? Who raised the hand in the back who has 10 trillion dong? I saw someone. I was joking. It would be in danger after going out of here. Well, so yeah, it's a huge requirement. Almost $400 million, right? And 65% was come from institutional investors. So this is not feasible for most of us, right? And the government, next please. So the reality check is that the regulation is cool and the thinking about crypto is changing to a positive note in Vietnam, right? But the issue is that it's mostly for upbeats, huge companies, people that want to create exchanges, institutional banks. It's not for us that are building startups. Right? We're building a startup, we don't have that amount of capital. So, yes, again, you need almost $400 million to do this, or $10 billion. Unfeasible, right? Well, the good news is that we can build around this. We can leverage and Starknet and Bitcoin can leverage this around these crypto exchanges and around this regulation, right? For example, there are alternative business models that do not require the exchange licenses. Let's see what they could be. Also, there's a fintech sandbox that could create low capital entry points. I mean, in the end, there's ways to work around this. Right? Next, please. So, what ways? Who here is aware of the fintech sandbox? Fintech sandbox here? Is someone registered in the fintech sandbox of Vietnam? The 2-year regulatory safety nets? No? Yeah, the fintech sandbox. Well, this is something, who's building something with Bitcoin here? With Bitcoin? Good, right? Who else? Who's building something with cryptoactives? A product. No one is building something with cryptoactives. With the star tokens or ETH tokens. Well, if you were, here you have the fintech sandbox, and this is something that could be useful for you, for example. It's sandbox provides an enabled space for fintech firms to test and scale solutions in a controlled environment. And well, it's active now. So if you were to try to explore your company inside this is a good opportunity, sandbox. Next. Here you have the fintech sandbox, and this is something that could be useful for you, for example. It's sandbox provides an enabled space for fintech firms to test and scale solutions in a controlled environment. And well, it's active now. So if you were to try to explore your company inside this is a good opportunity, sandbox. Next. So what does this mean? This means that, for example, you can create a credit scoring company. For example, using Bitcoin transaction history for creditworthiness assessment, peer-to-peer lending. This kind of stuff you can do it inside this sandbox, right? And this is legal. So it's something cool that you can build already that is legal and is leveraging the new regulation and of course the fintech sandbox, which I think again, I'm not an expert on this. Max knows much more than me is, but the fintech sandbox seems to be something that is crucial for this. Next, please. So there are 3 requirements, of course, for the fintech sandbox, right? It must be Vietnamese. It must be a Vietnamese company. Vietnamese general director, system located in Vietnam. Well, it's okay. It's something that we ought to comply with. Next, please. Yes, you can build stuff that works around the new regulation and inside the fintech sandbox. For example, Bitcoin tax software, remittances apps. This is huge. 16 billion market using Bitcoin wells via Starknet, remittance apps, DeFi interfaces, gaming wallets. So yes, there's stuff that you can do already around the regulation and leveraging the sandbox, right? Without having to have the 10 billion bonds that are required by the regulation, or having to be an exchange or a huge bank. Next, please. So other stuff that you can do is B2B infrastructure that you can build. For example, compliance tools, KYC, AML services for licensed operators, analytic dashboards, Again, the remittances app for me are very, very interesting using Starknet, the remittances app. Yes, 95% of Vietnamese businesses are small or medium, right? So there's a lot of small businesses that can leverage the tools that you could build, and that could be legal actually. So this is very, very interesting for a B2B offering this business some way to for example, make transactions between them. Right? There's a Mexican thing called Pay that is doing something like this in Mexico. B2B, small transactions. Alright, like waiting now. Okay, next please. So this another kind of another kind of value that you might exploit is the indirect approach, right? For example, trying to sell something or provide something to the exchanges that are regulated with the new regulation, right? For example, the MB bank model, they handle the licensing, compliance, and so on, and you provide user experience, specialized features, and then of course you can be, for example, you can build a trading interface for the Bitcoin END pairs, right? Something like that. So you can provide services to these people that are now regulated, and now, I mean, they don't have the hands or the expertise to do everything that is required. So there's stuff that you can do around this without having to cover the money. Next please. So next. So yes, basically to finalize the second part of the presentation, you can use these laws in your favor without having the capital, and it doesn't hold you back by the time you will have, and it's very important. So Bitcoin is in particular benefited by the new regulation, because the new regulation, maybe Max can correct me if I'm wrong, but does not target USDT or other stable coins. So it's mostly for non-stable coins. So what does this mean is that Bitcoin is particularly preferred here, right? So now Bitcoin will qualify as a real underlying asset for several financial transactions that you can create. So we're in a good point right now for Bitcoin, okay? Excluding fiat or securities, right? So now is a good moment to build Bitcoin, and that's what we're targeting. So, I mean, this is time sensitive. You have a compliant builder who have a 6-month government enforced head start before the license competition is restricted, right? So now it's a little bit, you need to move fast, right? Because it's a model, you have 6 months to have a head start and be compliant with this, and also look for the fintech sandbox, which lasts up to 2 years. That's something also interesting. And yeah, okay, next please. Yes, so going to the third part of the presentation. So now when do you use, how can you create this stuff, right? So what will we promoting here, and it's not a marketing move or something, it's Starknet is it's a great solution for Bitcoin. Starknet is it's a great solution for Bitcoin, and I will show you why. So you have high adoption in Vietnam already. A lot of people are using it, right? So you need something scalable. And this is the layer 2 technology by Starknet. I can explain to you later how it works. Then you have government support already. So you need, using an open source protocol is better it's more attractive to our government, having an open source protocol. You have a lot of mobile first users because most of Vietnamese clients are mobile first, right? So now you have account abstraction to your hands using Starknet. And finally, you have a huge remittance market in Vietnam, 17 billion in Vietnam. And you need very, very small fees for transacting this. And with the Starknet, you can make transactions with Bitcoin for 1 cent of a dollar. And this is going lower and lower and lower and lower. Okay? So Starknet is a good match for what we're looking for here in Vietnam. Next, please. So yes, Bitcoin started as a Bitcoin staking layer. So you will be able to scale from 7 transactions per second to handle thousands of transactions per second. This is growing and growing and growing with technology. So you will be able to have a lot of transactions, and also make transactions for 1 cent of a dollar. So you're moving from up to, for example, $2 per transaction to 1 cent of a dollar. So this is huge. Fast transactions, low fees. You can build whatever you want on top of Bitcoin, and also it will inherit the security of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it will be, it's very secure. It has always been very secure, and it will always continue to be very secure. Next please. So what can you do now with Starknet? You can use already, for example, the Garden Bridge to bridge Bitcoin to Starknet on a very secure way, almost permissionless. It's not yet permissionless, or it's the closest that we can have right now with the Bitcoin technology available. But soon, we expect that soon we'll be able to do permissionless transactions, movements of Bitcoin from layer 1 Bitcoin to Starknet, right? This is something that we are very focused on, so you don't have to use derivatives coming from, I don't know, like WBTC or CBBTC from Coinbase. I think WBTC is from Bits, Bybits. I don't remember exactly, but in the end, these are not permissionless assets, right? So Garden is the most similar thing that we can have here. Also, we have derivatives such as PBTC. You can use PBTC in Starknet. You can use swaps secured by Bitcoin proof of work with Atomic Labs. There's also the Stargate bridge, which is an official bridge, which you can use with WBTC, TBTC, LBTC. But a lot of BTC assets derivatives you can use in Starknet. So you can also move it from Garden to from Bitcoin with Garden to Starknet. Right? So yes. But basically you can now do whatever you want with Bitcoin using Garden and Starknet. Right? So you can already leverage what there is. This is not theoretical, this is already here. And it's getting better and better and better by the day. Next please. So yes, recently the community has approved Bitcoin's role in securing the Starknet network. So for example, now 25% of the consensus of the Starknet will be in Bitcoin, right? So 75% is in Ethereum, 25% in Bitcoin. I don't want to get into details, but in the end, we are moving forward with securing the network with Bitcoin. So now, for example, if you're a Bitcoin holder, you can stake your Bitcoin and gain rewards, monthly rewards, you see, with the Star token, right? This is the way that we're rewarding right now. And this is already working. 25 of the consensus now is with the Starknet, with Bitcoin. This is very recent, very recent. So I took you all last week, something like that. Next, please. And now the future that we're looking for is the OPCAT, which is a tool that will allow us in Starknet to have the permissionless bridge that I was talking for. So this is something that we're advocating for, trying to move forward with. It's hard because